Hi, this is English Made Easy with Teacher Jed. In this video, we will talk about the active and passive voice, their difference, structures, and uses. Plus, we will talk about some steps on how to convert an active to passive voice. First, what is a voice in a sentence? Voice refers to the who or what is doing the action in the sentence. We have two kinds, the active and passive. The active voice refers to the sentence in which the subject is the doer of the action. For example, Marilyn plays the guitar. The subject Marilyn is doing the action plays. This sentence is in the active voice. When do we use the active voice in speech and writing? It is when we want our sentences to be more concise or short, easier to understand, and to be less work for our readers or listeners. Now let's proceed with the passive voice. This refers to the sentence wherein the subject is the receiver or object of the action. For example, the guitar is played by Marilyn. This sentence has the same meaning and context with the previous example, but here the subject is the guitar and it is receiving the action played. Notice that the preposition by is written before the doer of the action, Marilyn. Now, when do we use the passive voice? It is when the doer of the action is unknown. For example, my wallet is stolen. We cannot add the preposition by because we do not know who stole it. Here we focus on the receiver of the action, which is my wallet. We also use the passive voice when the doer of the action is unimportant or obvious. For example, a robber is arrested. Who does the action? It's obvious that a policeman that does that. When you want to focus on the action instead of the subject, we also use the passive voice. For example, the broken computer is being fixed. Here we are more interested on the action being done. I hope you understood the difference and the use of each voice because now we will focus on the conversion of the voices. We have 5 steps on how to convert an active to passive sentence. First, we have to identify the subject. Second, we have to swap the doer and the receiver. Third, we have to convert the verb into its past participle form or verb number 3. Next, we have to add the proper helping verb before the main verb. Lastly, we have to add by before the doer. Hence this formula. It is also important to note the changing of the doer, which is pronoun. Since they will be converted to passive voice, we cannot use the same case of pronoun. I will become me. He will become him. She will become her. We will become us. They will become them. These are all in the subjective case, while these are all in the objective case. We need to take note of this table to help us in adding the proper helping verb for step number 4. We will use the verb write as example. For the simple present, write or writes will become is, am, are, depending on the number of the subject. Written, which is in the verb number 3 or past participle form. In present continuous tense, is, am, are writing will become is, am, are being written. For present perfect tenses, have written will become has, have been written. For simple past, wrote, was, were written. For past continuous, was, were writing will become was, were being written. For past perfect, had written will become had been written. For simple future tense, will write will become will be written. For future perfect tense, will have written will become will have been written. Let's have an example. For simple present tense, the sentence is he writes a letter. This is in the active voice. First, we have to identify the subject. In this sentence, he is the subject. Next, we have to swap the doer and the receiver. A letter is a receiver. It will become the subject of the sentence. He will become him. For step number 3, we have to convert the verb into its verb number 3 or past participle form. So write will become written. We also have to add the proper helping verb is. Lastly, add the preposition by before the doer. A letter is written by him is in the passive voice. For the present continuous tense, we have the sentence they are making a poster. Active voice. First, identify the subject, they. Second, swap the doer and receiver. A poster will become the subject. They will become them. Number 3, convert the verb. Making will become made. Add the proper helping verb. A poster is a singular subject, so we will use is. And 5, add the preposition by before the doer. Hence, a poster is being made by them. It's in the active voice. For present perfect tense, I have eaten a pizza. Identify the subject, I. Then swap the doer and the receiver. A pizza will be our subject. I will become me. Then we have to convert the verb. Been it eaten. And number 4, we have to add the proper helping verb, has, and add by before the doer. A pizza has been eaten by me is a passive voice. For the simple past tense, she wore a gown. Identify the subject, she. Swap the doer and receiver. A gown will be our subject. She will become her. And convert the verb. Wore will become worn. Then add the proper helping verb, was. Add the word by before the doer. A gown was worn by her. For past continuous tense, Sist was writing a song. Identify the subject, Sist. Swap the doer and the receiver. A song will be our subject now. Sist will remain the same. Then let's convert the verb. Writing will become written. Then add helping verb was being. Add the preposition by before the doer. A song was being written by Sist. For past perfect tense, Kevin had cooked a meal. We have to identify the subject. Kevin. Swap the doer and receiver. A meal will be our subject. Kevin will stay the same. We have to convert the verb cooked. This is in the regular form, so we just have to add ed, then add the proper helping verb. Then add the word by before the doer. Hence, a meal had been cooked by Kevin. For future simple tense, Aldrin will accept the job. Identify the subject, Aldrin, and swap the doer and receiver. The job. The job will be our subject. Aldrin will say the same. Convert the verb accepted, then add the proper helping verb will be. Add the word by before the doer. The job will be accepted by Aldrin. For future perfect tense, in the active voice, Elisha will have charged the battery. Identify the subject, Elisha. Swap the doer and receiver. The battery will be our subject now, and Elisha will be at the last part of the sentence. Then convert the verb, charged, and add the proper helping verb, will have been charged. Add the word by before the doer. The battery will have been charged by Elisha. Again, please take note of this table as your guide. Thank you for watching.